Hello and welcome to the Section 109 podcast from Studio Breezy. Here with Sir Mix-a-Lot, Pablo, Juan, Matthew, and I'm going to check the camera so we don't have the same thing as last time.
What a great call.
It is recording. It's good news. It's my own applause for me. For anyone who was watching last time, I apologize. The camera or the cell phone that records, a little peek behind the curtain, is plugged into a battery pack, but somehow the battery pack and they were not plugged in well enough. So it was not charging. So it went down to 10% battery and cut off the video. I guess there's some setting in there. Annoying. Our bad. My bad. But anyway, we're here, Matthew, to talk about some fun things. A draw with 2 points that felt like a win. The game last night with Crown Legacy. Charlotte 3, Charlotte 2, whatever they are.
Last night?
2 nights ago?
Sunday.
Last night?
That was last night.
Last night?
Huh.
How you feeling? How are the vibes? Obviously, you thought it was 3 days ago, so love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Vibes, good. I think you could, and by the way, don't, but like you could go all the way back to sometime
Don't do this.
In May.
Whatever you're about to do, don't do this.
You could go all the way back into May to find our second to last win
I hate you.
on the season, right?
I knew you were going to do something like this.
You could look at this block as, well, that's another draw. Yeah, it was 2 points, but it's another draw in a long line of us not winning games. Or you could be like me and you could say,
I don't like that idea either.
you know what? Let's just ignore a lot of just June and the beginning part of July and just say those were the cat days of summer. And focus on the fact that we, in our last 4 games now, have gotten a win, 2 draws, with both of those getting an extra point on the penalties, and a loss.
It's a solid last 4 games.
Yeah, it's a really good last 4 games.
Honestly,
in this league, 7 points.
If we do a loss, 2 draws, and even if we don't get the points, loss, 2 draws, and a win over the next 4, we're going to be in decent shape. I'm not saying we're going to be there, but that's 5 points.
We're going to be close.
And we're going to be close. Now, I'm hoping we win the next 4.
That'd be nice.
But to be clear, like, we can talk. We'll talk playoff math in a minute. But like this win took us from 8th to 5th.
I mean, realistically, it's 1.75 points per game pace in the last 4 games, which is good. In this league, it's, that's roughly like 4th in the Eastern Conference, like level pace. Now, obviously, there was the June and July existed, right? So
yes.
we're battling in a different ball game right now. But the main point here is that I think like the Orlando home game that we won, like the Toronto game, where it was an even Steven game in terms of like shots and things like that, not necessarily possession.
I think you're being generous to us. Keep going.
Huntsville was an even game, by and large, in that nothing mostly happened. And then this one was also fairly even. What I'm saying is these last 4 games have been different in that we have not been just second best.
Also, we weren't second best in all those June and July games. We kicked the shit out of Crown Legacy the first time at home.
We had a good overall game against Crown Legacy with with one specific big moment.
One bad error and one big bad bounce. Like, and by the way, in this game, the story of this game is that we got the bounce.
We got the bounce.
We also played pretty well overall, like decent, but like in the second half.
We played pretty good.
First half was such a nothing burger that the 90 and 15 had exactly like 2 moments from the first half. And
which,
then,
by the way, like, it was a great piece of chance creation to get JP at a great angle. Well, a tough angle, but like
the cross that JP puts in, it's not a shot, by the way. That's a cross to Medi.
Who cares what it is? Like, he forces the goalkeeper to have to make a play. There was another one earlier in the first half where I think Taylor gets loose and provides a cutback. Like those are, we still aren't consistently making super dangerous opportunities come, but where we had possession of the ball in that first half, those two key moments about the same kind of place at the edge of the 6. On the end line, like that's, we have not had possession in super dangerous places very much, even really this season.
We did against Orlando.
Some, but not a lot, and especially not really on the road much, and this is, it was a good sign of life from a team that created kind of two of those moments, didn't lead to anything early on. And then in the second half, we conceded the goal. And that wasn't great, and we can talk about that. But we never gave up a big chance. And the goal definitely galvanized us to start really pushing. And while nothing materialized until
87th.
And well, the goal in the 88th was obviously a huge moment, but we were starting to create some stuff.
Oh, we did, but it doesn't matter until the ball goes in. We are not at creation part of the season. We were at ball needs to go in part of the season.
Well, this is actually real fun because I was having this internal debate with myself this morning in the shower, and I was thinking about, you can talk about XG and creating chances and things like that all you want up until the final quarter of the season.
First 10 games, you're not supposed to look at it. Middle 10 games, you need to look at it a bunch and look at it with retrospective on the first 10 games. And then the last 10 games of the season, you can use it as a metric to be like, hey, did we play well? Even though single game XG is not super predictive. But like, if you look at the XG, you can be like, oh, I think the stats also show me what my eyes said as well. We played pretty well. We created some big chances, this, that, and the other. But the last 10 games, it just doesn't matter. Like, and we got footballed in the middle half of the season a bunch on like games that we should have been better and we weren't as good meaning we should have got better results than we got. And at the beginning of the season, we got a bunch of results that we maybe shouldn't have, or bounces went our way. So like now, but we're in a part where like, I don't care.
It doesn't matter anymore.
I don't care if someone's got 2 XG and we got 0.4, as long as we win, don't care.
Like just
win, baby.
Win the moments that you can. And, if you look at it, we went down 1-0. Charlotte had some push in them. They had a big, there was a big sequence there where, Jon Burke, deputizing for Jean-Antoine, saves a routine free kick or something like that.
He had a couple nice scoops that were terrifying.
Very soon after, one of Crown's substitute strikers, puts in a real nasty ball from outside the box, makes an excellent save. And then just seconds later, the ensuing corner kick, he has to make a ridiculous save, kind of flying across the goal mouth to get back into position when he came out for a cross and then regretted it and had to get back into position. And like, on another day, it's 2-0 and the game's done.
That's another ball bounces the right way. Like, he makes a great play on it, but also the ball bounces in a way that should go in, but it's not like a villainous, like massive header. By the way, that guy beat Anatoly to the ball, so he did really well. But it didn't matter because Jon was there.
Right. And you need your goalkeeper. This is the part of the season where like you need your goalkeeper to make plays.
Yeah, and he did. Jon had about 3 saves that were really, really, really crucial.
And that's before,
in that last little, before the penalty shootout.
The penalty shootout, yeah.
Where he won an extra point for us.
So let's go through the lineup.
Let's do it.
We'll start there, and we can move on from there. So in goal, as mentioned, Jon Burke. Right back, Milo Garvanian.
It appears, by the way, as Jean-Antoine was not on the bench either, it appears he has picked up a minor injury. I was told it's minor, so he did not travel, but they expect him back soon. But Beretta was on. Congratulations, Mike, buddy. I think that's his first road game on the bench, I think. If he had one other, it was because
Carolina Core.
But I think we had Oh, because because he was suspended for that one too. Okay, so it's the second road game on the bench. Just really nice to see the young man getting some time.
And New York City probably as well.
Also, Jon Burke with the fresh haircut.
Yeah, dude, clean shaven.
Didn't know that was him. In the second half, because the picture's a little blurry and it wasn't up close, I just saw no floppy hair, and I was like, oh my God, is Jean-Antoine sub in? Like, I was, there's no hair there. And it's Jon Burke. But I was just so confused. Confused.
Yeah. I don't know if I can't remember if Gene was on the bench early part of the season when he wasn't playing or not. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
He was, by the way. He was on the bench, but he never played.
Milo Garvanian at right back again.
The back four is pretty solidified at this point.
Anatoly at right center back. Duvan Villafaramina at left center back. Joseph Perez at left back. You had double pivot with Jude Arthur back in the starting lineup alongside Andres Jimenez Aranzazu. Luis Garcia Sosa kept his place at the number 10. With no Alex McGrath in this game. Also an injury. Did not travel. We had Minjae Kwok move from the left to the right. Taylor Gray came back into the lineup at left wing. Mehdi Wolmeri was again at striker. And that's how that went through the first half. Callum Watson subbed in for Jude Arthur about the 69th minute.
Nice.
Might have been 68. Who knows?
Well, certainly that's nice.
And then needing a goal late, the triple substitution comes at the 81st minute.
Talk to me about not only the triple change, but the impending or ensuing formation change as well.
Yeah, so Farid Zarzar subbed in for Joseph Perez. They moved to a back three, kind of a 3-5-2 formation.
Straight up back three.
Yeah. The
closest thing it came to a back four was when Jalen James was playing left back. They were defensively there for a minute after we scored.
Markus Nylestad subbed in for Minjae Kwok, and Jalen James subbed in for Taylor Gray. We moved to a 3-5-2 with 2 6s and a 10.
With Callum and Andres side by side, Milo at right back, and then left wing back being Jalen James.
Yeah.
And then Markus, and welcome back, Markus, up top alongside Mehdi, which is what I'd hoped to see at the end of this game. I was telling somebody at Buffalo Wild Wings, which, by the way, shout out Jay, did an awesome documentary. If you didn't see it,
it's on YouTube now.
It's on the YouTube now. Hit up the pod and we can send you the YouTube link. But it's awesome. And so they showed that at halftime. So it was cool. Very, very cool. But at Buffalo Wild Wings, I told somebody, like, I don't know, 60th minute or whatever, like, when do you think Markus comes in? And I was like, I think he probably comes in around the 75th minute, give or take. But I don't know if he comes in for Mehdi, because if Mehdi will be like, have run and need a sub, but my hope is that he hasn't and he doesn't, and he comes in alongside Mehdi. And sure enough, he did come along. I wish it was in a different circumstance, that we weren't down one, but I thought it was really fun to see them play together, and I thought it really bore fruit.
Yeah, and I think the structure of the formation change was, remember we had a back three for starting for a couple of games. In each of the Philadelphia and Carolina core games, it played itself out in the 65th minute or so with a substitution.
No, end of the Carolina core was at the half. Or at the end of the Philadelphia game, it was at the half. One of the two. It was at the half of the Philadelphia game.
It was at half at Philadelphia, and it was whenever the injury happened to Duvan in the Carolina core game.
Yes, which was the 65th or 70th minute.
And we really haven't seen it even in many late game scenarios this year. It's just not been a feature. But in the specific,
I think we'd already gone back to the 4-3-3 in that Carolina game. I think you're confusing that with a different game. But we only played 2 games with the 3 men. We started 2 games with 3 men.
Yeah, it was Carolina.
I don't think it was Carolina.
I bet it was.
I don't think it was.
Okay, I'm going to pull this up and prove you wrong live on the podcast. But the important point there is that it played itself out less of when we were playing with 1 9 and 2 10s, but we're just reversing that and having a single 10 and then 2 9s. And what it allowed us to do against Crown's back 4 is just start occupying both center backs. So now
there ended up being were they playing a back 4?
Yeah.
So like
they only play back 4.
Their right back plays a little more like a center back, and is like was tucked in quite a bit. I'm not saying he doesn't get forward, but he was tucked in defensively quite a bit. And then Lucho was drifting out wide for portions of that. And it was like Markus and Medi going, and then we had a midfielder pulling up into the middle at times in possession. But for whatever reason, even with three of them, they couldn't get the communication right on who to mark and when to mark. Because you had Markus going near post on both the Medi short one that Karam's out to Callum and Callum smashes, and on the goal you have Markus going short right and Medi going left, and there's confusion on who to mark, and they like it's part of the reason why we score.
One of the reasons that could be,
but it's all three back each time
because the right back that started the game was substituted because of an injury. And so they put on a different guy, and I guess I don't know what kind of characteristics. By
the way, it's his fault that Medi scores. He turns around, never sees him. Medi makes the run to the back post, is there for the tap in on the deflection, and it's like it's beautiful because the other two players are following Markus. I guess that was the game.
Yeah, it was.
You're right.
I know.
Oh, wait, this is a better one. Matthew was right, everybody. Matthew was right.
What a surprise. So,
fuck you.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, it's not one of those, number one, and on both of those plays, both rebound things that you're talking about, or deflection or whatever, both strikers are doing what they're supposed to do, which is number one, stay on side. Number two, follow the play. Whether that's coming out off of a goalkeeper, whether it's coming off another defender, you want there's no one you rather want than Medi and Markus being ready for cleanup duty, because those are the breaks sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what happened. So on the goal in particular, Milo cuts in on his left foot, beats a guy. The guy finally leaves him, takes a left-footed shot. It's a good shot, but it deflects because it gets partially blocked, but it deflects in between and beside, and Medi's moving already towards the ball, and the two closest center backs were closest to Milo and closest to Markus and closest to the near post are following Markus, either loosely or directly. And as they follow Markus, the other center back has his back to the play, so he doesn't see, or back to Medi, because he completely switches off. I don't know if he thinks somebody else is there, but he never looks at Medi. Medi runs right around him. He turns around to see Medi tap it in. I realize it's like he hits it pretty hard and the goalkeeper's coming over.
It's also like...
But Matthew, he never looks. I watched like 10 times. He never knows. Like,
you're talking about a fraction of a second of time.
No, it's a 1,000, 2, 1,000 that he's not looking at him. It's too...
I don't care how long he's not looking at him. I'm saying, like, from the time that the shot is taken...
It's before the shot. He doesn't turn... I'm telling you, he turns around. He doesn't track his run. It's beautiful. I loved it. But it's also...
I think he did everything right there.
My man. It's exactly what I explained to you about naive defending. It's what a child does. I don't know how old he was, but like...
Let's not talk about naive defending, because I could find a few examples from our own side. From some older players. Let's not do that.
It's extraordinarily naive defending from what I imagine as a child, and a real veteran that like makes a smart soccer play and a move, because Medi starts to run before the shot is taken. And the guy has already switched his field of view, turned all the way around. He's looking for something else to happen as the shot's starting to be taken, and he doesn't see it, never knows Medi's there, and completely loses him. Now, does Medi get there anyway if he's turned around? Maybe, but also he might be close enough because he has plenty of time to be marked up. But in my opinion, it's naive defending. He could be old enough, but my guess is he's a kid and he's learning, and just the level of defending in this league sometimes is really, really good, and sometimes it's naive. And it's one of the reasons why having a veteran striker like Medi or like Markus now is helpful for us, because we can take advantage sometimes of some of those mental lapses. And I really enjoyed us finally getting the bounce, because we just haven't gotten the bounce in a few weeks to take advantage of a lapse like that.
Yeah.
Because the ball does not roll super fast. I mean, he could, if he's in position, he can possibly make a play on that, but he has no chance because he doesn't know where Medi is. It is beautiful. And I love it. And I loved it. Also, I like I was saying, I really enjoyed them playing together. For anyone who's out here like, cool, we're going to see it from the beginning. I don't think we're going to see it from the beginning. I'm not saying never. Maybe in one game we see them try a 3-5-2 potentially, but I do think that this is going to be your change of pace. And here's why. Every time they had the ball from minute 81 to 96 or 97 when they blew that whistle, every time Crown Legacy had the ball, I was clenching my asshole so tight I could have made a diamond out of coal. It was terrifying because we were exposed with... Milo can play right wing back, okay, but you have an absolute winger playing left wing back. You have Callum, who's a 10, playing the 6, and you're missing Jude. Like, it was terrifying. And we've seen our puppies. We've seen our center backs, if in space, have problems defending in transition.
You've seen not just our center backs. Pretty like we are not an awesome transition and just open game team. We try to keep the game.
We're not exceptionally athletic.
Fairly
and we control the game through possession.
And careful and attack in the moments we want to, defend in the moments we want to, and you have to. Down a goal, you have to take risks.
No, absolutely. But my point is, the reason Rod doesn't take that risk earlier is because, I think, if you asked him, is because he knows we're going to have to defend at some point. And so you take that risk and you hope to get a goal, and it works. But then we defended another 7 minutes, and it was terrifying, right? We got it done. But if you make that move in the 60th, or you make that move from the beginning, honestly, if we start that game, we might lose that game 4-2 if we start out with that lineup. I realize Jalen wouldn't have been at left wing back and whatever else,
but stuff you do, but
still, that move is a move that you do because we're pretty good and pretty nailed on with our formation, and we played reasonably well for large portions of this game. Not phenomenal, but well for portions of it. And you have this card in your pocket that you can play. You have this tool in the toolbox that is Markus, and that is also a formation change if you want it. And yes, you can make it at the 60th minute. If we were down 2 goals, you make it in the 60th minute. But if you're down a goal, you make it in the 70th, 75th, or 80th, and you hope, or if we're chasing a game and Medi needs to come off, you make the Markus move. But you probably don't make it from the beginning, would be my argument, at least based on how I'm looking at this roster and with only 6 games to go.
Yeah.
Matthew, talk to me, unless you've got more from this game, talk me through the playoff picture.
Well, 2 points were massive. Oh, look at that! You got the little thing pulled up right here. Yeah,
I took a screenshot.
The 2 points are super important. And this is actually a bit crazy, but with Cincinnati's loss at home to Carolina Core, with Toronto's win, maybe at Philadelphia Union, we're only 8 points out of first with 6 games to go. Now, no one get your hopes up. It's not happening.
Especially because New York still has 3 games in hand.
Right, yeah. The big winner. Well, and New York lost against Orlando.
There was a little period, we said several times, anybody can beat anybody. Anybody can beat anybody. And then there was a 5 or 6 week stretch there where nobody beat anybody that wasn't supposed to. Yeah. And it started feeling like, fuck, someone's going to run away from it. And now we are back that, if you look at that, tell me how many points there are between 4th and 10th.
4th place is on 35 points. 10th place is on 31 points.
There's 4 points. Now, there's some games in hand here and there. Except for New York, everybody's 1 game less or 1 game more. So it's either 22 or 21 played. Yeah. So teams have either 6 left or 7 left, except for New York, who has 9 left. But, don't ruin my joke. But if you're looking at this table, if we just keep winning, and I'll actually just preview one of my key takeaways here. We are the definition of mid-table in this league, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because the mid-table is big and it's pretty good. And the mid-table could be that we're the 4th best team in the league, and the mid-table could be that we're the 10th best team in the league. And so these fine margins are super fucking important, and we need to get in the playoffs because we can, on our day, make noise with anybody. I think that there's 3 teams at the top of the league that are a little step above everybody else, at least in the East. But we're right in the thick of things. We just got to keep picking up points. And when we went to the 80th minute last night, down a goal, and we made those subs, and then we got a goal, and then we got the shootout win, those 2 points may very well be the difference in us making or not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're fucking massive.
I mean, just think about how many times we've gotten an extra point off of a shootout this year.
We have 8 shootouts. We've won 5. We've lost 3.
We've lost 3?
Pretty sure. Chicago away.
New York away.
New York away. Is that it?
Might be it.
Are we 6-2?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it goes to...
You can do the math based on how many points we have.
Yeah, but that's math.
I thought we were 5-3.
21 points from
no, because we were already up 2. It was 4-2 because we were already up. We were already 2 to the good. No, because we were 7. So it was 5 and I thought it was 5-3. Let me.
We're at 8 draws, 7 points or 7 wins is 21 points. 8 draws is another 8 points, right?
We're not on 35, are we?
Yeah.
Well, wait, that's 4. 8 draws.
Yeah, we've won 6. 21 plus 8 is 29. We need 6 points to get to 35.
Holy shit, we've won 6. So yeah, we're 6-2. By the way, friends, do not expect that to continue. Like, we need to take them when we can get them, but it's these draws are the only reason we're in the playoff hunt right now.
I can't wait to lose a playoff game on a penalty shootout.
I can't wait to not make the playoffs the day before on a penalty shootout.
No,
the darkest timeline.
It's, the one thing that this mid-table is showing that is concerning. Well, there's a positive sign. Okay, Toby. There's a positive and there's a negative to this. The positive is you get a couple wins towards the end of the season, and
we could just as easily miss the playoffs
a home playoff game.
A
home playoff game is still on the cards somehow.
Right. We could just as easily finish 4th and get a home playoff game, or finish 10th and miss the playoffs. Yeah. We are just right on that razor thin line because everyone is within 4 points. And if we don't win, we're going to fall down. And if we do win, we're likely to go up the table.
Think about this. Both us and Columbus have, I think, 6 games left. We get Columbus once the season at home.
We also get Miami.
We can close the gap right there.
We also get Miami away.
The Miami game is much more about the bottom half of the playoff picture. But you still have games with...
Is Columbus in 3rd right now or 4th?
Yeah, Columbus in 3rd on 39. Which, by the way, means that they're a whisker hair away from, all of a sudden, going ahead of the East.
Yes, because that top 3 is pretty tight. But there's a little bit of separation between 4th and 3rd.
What I think we might do here, and honestly, we may not do it until after the Miami game, because you and I are going on a cruise after the Miami game.
We are. Maybe we'll pod from the cruise.
There's probably...
Probably not going to pod from the cruise.
No, definitely not.
You know why we're not?
Because
the internet won't be good enough.
I was going to say, because our significant others might kill us, throw us overboard.
They'll be hanging out. They'll be fine.
No, but I think after the Miami game, we'll get 5 games to go, and it might be the kind of time to put together an end-of-season kind of spreadsheet with max points, minimum points, and then scenarios.
Tell your prognostication that you gave me yesterday, and you've been giving me for a while, but what's the minimum number of points we need to get? These are not a guarantee because that's not a mathematical... It's not a mathematical safety number, but give me what you expect is going to be needed to make the playoffs.
I think you need 42 or 43.
Which means we need 8 points more.
7 or 8.
7 or 8. So let's say we need 8 points more. That's 2 wins and win a penalty shootout.
Here's the scary thing, though. Because the group right now from 4 to 10 is so close together, it's very possible that the normal stratification doesn't occur and that you need closer to 46. That's possible. I don't think it's going to happen, but because Southern teams play each other 3 times a year and Northern teams play each other 3 times a year, you do have scenarios where it's not this perfectly clean.
Well, that's why this isn't a mathematical thing. We are guessing that based on the last 2 years and roughly based on this year's point totals, we think we need about 43 points.
Yeah.
Which is 8 more points. Or 7 more points if we think it's 42.
The likelihood,
40
talk,
the last 2 years was good enough.
The likelihood is that this thing does come down to decision day for 6 teams.
Please, let's not be one of them. I can't take it, Matthew. I'm not going to be here.
I know.
Fuck.
I know. So I can't stress enough how big those 2 points and the confidence that the group's going to have from, number one, playing a pretty good game, points aside.
Yeah.
And getting the goal, getting the shootout, having the confidence in your backup goalkeeper to go win you a shootout.
And by the way, he did just go win the shootout.
He just went and won the shootout. By the way, against a phenomenal goalkeeper.
Let's talk about the shootout a little bit, because I think there was a lot of drama there. And these extra points, as much as I hate this, it is where we're at. So we got to take advantage of it, and we are taking advantage of it.
It's not like we're the only ones playing in these shootouts and getting extra points right now. Other teams are playing in shootouts and getting extra points.
Yes.
You have to keep pace.
Can I Can I ask you a question? Could you predict with any level of certainty the 5 penalty kick takers if they're taking one right now?
I can't give you the 5 penalty kick takers from game to game.
That's what I'm saying.
I just have no idea.
It's fucking wild.
Our best PK taker this season has not been in the last 3 or 4 shootouts.
I don't take Fareed Sarsar's name in vain.
Duvan.
Okay. By the way,
he took 2 penalties, and I don't think he's taken a single one since.
I think he might took a third one.
Probably.
I think he's taken 3, but I might have only taken 2. I might be remembering a second as his third, but yeah, it's wild. Duvan didn't take one. Fareed, Jalen's been good. I know he got one saved, but it's wild. I feel like they must have some sort of situation where they go into the huddle and they're like, all right, who's feeling good? And then I'm sure there's a couple guys who are just not in the mix, right? But they've got to have 7 or 8 guys every time that they're like, all right, who's feeling good? Who's taking them? And maybe they talk about it before the game, I guess. But it's so, I don't think we've, this is my gut. I don't actually know. I don't think we've had the same penalty lineup
each time.
It's so wild.
And I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if that's just how it's happening. I don't know.
What did you think when Markus stepped up first?
That was a big moment for Markus.
It's like we watched the same game together, but we were not together. Matthew did not join us at Buffalo Wild Wings, for everyone who wants to know. Matthew was being a baby and stayed home.
I had a lovely college football weekend with my college friends that very much...
He could have come in at a high noon and some wings with me and recovered, an active recovery, but...
It very much was a bachelor party.
I would have picked you up. I drove right by your house. I could have picked you up and dropped you back off.
Yeah, I had not seen Maddie since Wednesday morning, so that was not going to happen.
What's 2 extra hours?
It's not the 2 hours. It would be the 3 hours we celebrated after that.
I didn't celebrate any after the game.
Yeah.
Well, I talked to some people for a half hour or whatever.
I did. So I was standing up for the entire penalty shootout.
I was pacing around Buffalo Wild Wings as if it were my living room.
Yeah, I was pacing.
It was definitely inappropriate.
I was definitely pacing.
The servers were very nice and no one got mad at me, but I was definitely, but I did exclaim very loudly at some point. I got shushed. Not by Buffalo Wild Wings, by people that were like, Breezy. Maybe people on the other end of the restaurant don't want to have their ears yelled in.
Yeah. I remember turning to Maddie after we got the equalizer. Well, after the final whistle for regular time. I remember turning to her and I said, "That's a great point. No matter whatever happens here, that's a great point. Just getting a single point in this league is a victory sometimes,
and especially when you're 10 minutes to go, you're down 1, and you make the subs. And we were down. To be really clear, 3 minutes from full time, 3 minutes from the full time 90 minutes, we were down 1-0. It's a massive point, no matter what.
And then Markus stepped up to take it, and I turned back to her.
He walked really slow. Up to the line, just because he's a confident guy, he walked at a normal pace, but I felt like it took 4 hours for him to get up there.
I didn't really notice because I was pacing.
And then how are you feeling when the finish happened?
Well, I got the buzz on my phone or on my watch that he scored, so I felt pretty good as he stepped up to take it. But before I got that buzz,
You're a psycho.
I turned to Maddie, and I said, "This is a big moment for him." Because he had a couple touches during the game when he subbed on, earned a free kick late, which was great because it burned.
He also got absolutely murdered on his the leg he was standing on. So I was glad he was okay. It's also Markus, so when it's smart, he's going to milk it, and also when he's hurt, he's going to stay down, and then sometimes he's going to pop back. So you can't predict it, right? So I wasn't sure he was hurt, but I was worried that he was hurt for a minute there.
We were just taking some time off the clock there.
It was beautiful and perfect. I was just nervous.
It was great.
I didn't like seeing him getting taken out on his left leg as he was.
But think
that
about
child should have got a red card.
That penalty was his first time shooting at the goal since he was saved or hit the post or whatever it was against Flower City in the playoffs.
It was big.
And
I was thinking the same thing.
That was a nasty penalty.
When I literally turned and went, he's back. Because that was vintage Markus. He took it with full belief and confidence. Odunze is a fucking monster. I love him. He's so good.
We could talk about him for a while.
And we're going to talk about him because I want to talk about the next penalty that Milo took. Not to dwell on it, but just how good of a save it was. But he takes it so good, so well, so hard that I don't care if you gave Odunze a half step early, he wouldn't have got there. He would have needed a full, like, it's okay if you're a step off the line in order to get there.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
It's a great penalty.
And just turns around, points at Jon Burke, keeps going. Like, the confidence seeing that, it just was like, Markus is fucking back, baby. It just made me so happy.
Yeah. It was really awesome to see. And again, like, we could have missed the next 4, and like, it would have still been a good day, and like,
yes.
I would have gotten what I wanted out of it. Milo steps up. Milo takes a great penalty.
Milo,
to be clear,
Milo needs to be in our 5 penalty takers always. And there's an argument that well, not with Markus on the field, to be clear, but like with everyone else, and Medi's made his couple or whatever. So like, I'm not trying to take away from him. I think he's our penalty kick taker now, but there's an argument that Milo should be our penalty kick taker, and a lot of free kicks as well. He hits a dead ball very well. And pre-Markus, I think if you had asked me with like who I think should be taking free kicks and penalties, I think I would have said Milo or any one of our center backs, apparently.
Well, and we say all this because he takes a great penalty. It's in the top corner. But
and Odunze Superman's it.
Odunze's really good, like really good.
He's going to be in MLS soon.
I would hope so.
At least as their backup, if not their starter.
I mean, he's on an MLS contract. Problem is, like, Charlotte's goalkeeping core is like low-key really good.
Well, they have to have him down there.
I mean, they've got arguably one of the top 4 goalkeepers in MLS this year on performance alone, and that's a wild thing to say when Roman Burke is still really good. Hugo Lloris has been good. Matt Freese has had statistically one of the best seasons in MLS for a goalkeeper.
I don't know who any of these people are.
That's fine.
They all seem retired to me.
I love how you said Roman. That's funny.
They must be playing in some retirement league somewhere.
I forget the guy's name, but he's had a really, really good season, and is a big reason why Charlotte's in the position they are in MLS. And this guy's good though. Odunze is incredibly good. And
you mean 7th in MLS Next Pro? That's where they are in MLS.
Shut up. And I do expect someone will make a move for him because he's like 6'4".
He's legitimately, so he's goalkeeper 6'7", so really he's probably 6'6", but like the dude is, if you watch him stand next to Gene, and I've stood next to Gene, and Gene is significantly taller than me. Gene is listed at 6'3" or whatever, and I'm solidly 6'2", and Gene is taller than me, like actually taller than me. And
this guy would
him
be
standing
like,
next to Gene makes Gene look like not very big. Like, oh, that's a, it's just like
remember
big.
Calvin Johnson or whatever his name was that went to the NFL. I think he's called Megatron or
That's
something.
right, yeah.
If Shitru like Odunze played like football and was decided to be a wide receiver or tight end or something, that guy would be in the niffle.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's fantastic.
He's also actually one of the, like, what if our best athletes played soccer? Like, he's kind of the a little bit of that. Like, he's so, I realize like it doesn't quite translate because we have so many big, tall athletes, and like it only translates really to goalkeeper. But boy, does it translate well for him. He's fucking good, and I hope for whatever reason I don't hate him. I hate a lot of players in this league, but I don't hate him. I want to see him playing in MLS, like big MLS, all jokes aside. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him out of Crown Legacy, but I'd like to see him playing somewhere so that I could like root for him a little bit, like, and be like, I remember when that guy used to play against us, and like he's cool.
There's going to be a little bit of that for us,
like there's
in this league.
Yeah, I mean, like there's guys like what's the fucker from Maryland Bobcats that's now playing at Carolina Core?
Alex Sutton.
Yeah, he's never making MLS. No. Ever. Like, he's a decent keeper, and I said when we left, and he said that like if Jean-Antoine didn't come with us, like I thought that he was the best option if we looked back in Nice to get somebody, right? But I don't think he's that good. He's decent. He's good. He's a solid for MLS Next Pro. He's never making MLS ever. Whereas Odunze, and he's a complete douche canoe, but Odunze is probably making MLS, and I would think sooner rather than later.
I would think so.
Honestly, I rate him higher than I rate Atlanta's second keeper or third keeper, whatever his name is, not the young Jamaican kid.
Oh, Hibbert,
who's really good, really good. But I take Odunze every day.
Odunze's got a couple years on him too, which
that's
helps.
fair. That's fair. Both those keepers are really good. I like Hibbert a lot too.
Yeah.
And then so he saves that one, and it's like, fuck. And then Jon Burke saves and Jon Burke also got absolutely murdered on that first one. And I was like, oh no, Jon, like, please tell me this isn't one of those days. Not that, like, yeah, he self-proclaims that I'm not very good at penalties. And then he did that thing, and I was like, oh, Jesus. And then he goes out and saves the very next one.
Yeah.
Reads it, takes it, beautiful save, just great. I'm like, all right, we're back. And then obviously we exchange penalties there.
Totally scores going low.
Obviously we had a down the middle thing going on because we went 3 times in a row down the middle, and I think we knew that there was at least some scouting report that said if you go down the middle, Odunze's going to dive. I think that had to have been at least a part of it. And if we actually go 4 in a row because Fareed goes down the middle as well, but he goes just slightly off center. But I think we go 3 times. You're right. We go 3 times in a row down the middle, and one of them gets saved. But Burke goes the right way, gets it to put off the bar, and then goes the right way again, going the other way, and saves the final penalty after we just need to either save or make, and that's a whole other point for us.
Yeah, saves in round 2, off the bar in round 3.
He makes round 4.
Yeah, who is that? I forget his name. He's young, he's like 17. He's on the U.S.
16
U20 team or whatever it is.
16. According to the announcers,
Berchimus or whatever his name is.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, just like U.S.
Dude, he laced that thing. That was like, because Burke goes the right way, and it's like, God damn. I also love, there's one part where they pan over to him, and Burke is reading the water bottle. So I just love that we're at a place in our club where we have like legitimate scouting that's going on of the penalty kick takers. And because it's MLS Next Pro and there's so many kicks taken, you have scouting on every player.
Yeah.
So like that's really, really cool. Also, who do you think prepares those scouting notes? Who has the job of watching all of the penalty shootouts and showing which way they go?
You don't have to watch them all.
To chart which way they go?
We have data.
You think it's like this player, this...
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, because we get the same Sportico data that announcers get when they can easily put up a graphic on before a penalty.
Oh, interesting. I wonder who has to go through that and write it all out. I bet it's JC.
Yeah,
goalkeeper coach.
I would assume that's, yeah. I don't know.
I'm just curious. All right, Matthew. I have 3 key takeaways.
Okay. Do yours.
They're not super in depth, but first one is Markus immediate impact. Fuck yeah. Comes in. We get the tying goal. He takes the first penalty. So the first thing before he walked up was like, I wonder which place. Someone goes, is Markus taking a penalty? And I was like, there's no fucking way he doesn't take a penalty. I did not expect him to go first. Completely honest. I just would have imagined, sometimes you forget how big somebody's shoulders are, how broad somebody's shoulders are. I would have imagined they'd be like, you just send him third or whatever to give him like his first touch back in first. Fucking beautiful. So immediate impact there. Love that. The Rod 352, this year we've seen Rod tinker so much more, not only game to game, but also overall in formation changes and things. I think we're not going back to the starting 3, but we just played a different version of a 3-5-2. And I think the first version of our 3 informs the way we played this one. And I'm just really glad to see that evolution and have that tool in the tool bag. That's my second one. Number 3, we finally got the bounce. I know I said that earlier, but it's just nice. We were the better team, but sometimes you get the bounce against, and we were like slightly the better team, not by much. Or you might argue that we were like the same, roughly. But either way, we finally got the bounce and we put it away, and that felt really, really good. And then I have a bonus one, which I know I said earlier, but repeating, we are mid-table, and that's not a bad thing. There was a little while there where it was mid-table was a bad, but now that everyone's bunched up, like there's not a lot of separation in this league. And I'm fine if FC Cincinnati, Philadelphia Union, Columbus Crew are considerably better than us in our first year in the league. Granted, do I want to be better than them in the future? Yeah, I fucking do. But if they're better than us, at least during the regular season, and find me in the playoffs, like,
yeah,
okay.
Oh no, Columbus Crew 2 are better than us in our first year in the league, and they've had a 2-year head start and they won the thing and went to the final in the other year.
And Philly, yeah, exactly. No, I'm with you. And then we've played. If I look at like Chicago,
also Columbus Crew, like the best team in MLS.
Chicago Fire currently ahead of us. We played them even Steven. Unlucky to not get a point out of that game. NYCFC. Interesting. That's an interesting matchup because I don't know. They may be better than us. Crown Legacy.
We tied them earlier in the year.
We're every bit as good as Crown Legacy is.
Yeah.
And they have a more talented roster, quote unquote, because they've got a bunch of MLS like guys they drop down all the time. But like we're every bit as good as Crown Legacy. Inter Miami, we haven't played them in a while, but I believe we're every bit as good as Inter Miami. Red Bulls are not as good as us, I would say. Now they may beat us when we play them. Like they are talented, but like they are inconsistent as hell. And Orlando City B, we've played them a bunch, and like we know, or twice now, 3 times? Twice.
We played them 3 times.
3 times. Yeah, and we're like, they're not significantly better than us.
Well, they're the only team. Yeah, Orlando's the only team this year in the Southeastern group where we played 3 times already and we didn't lose.
Now, to be fair, we deserved to. We smashed and grabbed them. But my point is like we are mid-table, and I'm okay with that. If we were mid-table and that mid-table was 3 teams big, and it was like, I don't know. There's a world in which mid-table is very bad and feels very bad, but there's 3 teams above us, and there's a bunch of teams, and I mean like 6 of them, that are roughly as good as we are, that it's fucking good for year 1, but now we got to finish the year strong because this we're mid-table thing that I'm saying right now could really change how I feel 6 weeks from now. But for now, thanks, Toby. For now, we are right in the thick of things. Just go out and win, and if we can't win, let's just keep getting points. Win at home, draw on the road, and if you can get the extra point, great, which, by the way, we just went on the road, we drew, and we got the extra point. Mission accomplished. Keep going. Let's fucking get to the playoffs, and let's go see if we can make some noise.
Nice.
You got some takeaways?
Yeah, I really like your we're mid-table, and that's not a bad thing. Takeaway, because I think my first one is going to be this was a gutty, like gritty, resilient kind of game that we played, and that is not necessarily who we have been in the first 2 years, our last 2 years in NISA, where we tried to go out and play brilliant, expansive champagne football. We were the best team in the league, passing, moving, scoring goals, having fun, whatever. That's not who we are this year. Like, we're not the most talented team in the league. We're not.
That's weird.
We're not the best team in the league. We're trying to do some of those same things in our football, but it's much more in moments. It's much more in setting up the right moments to play. And we have had the one thing about this team, and I think a big reason why we got some points early, big reason why we're in the position we are in right now, is because this team just guts out stuff. And look, they might also lose 1-0 in a game like that. But also, we've stayed in games. We've gotten
ourselves back into games.
We've gotten some late goals. We've gotten back into games. Like
what did we talk about last time?
We've held on a couple leads.
2 games with a loss of more than 1 goal difference.
Yeah, and that's what I would expect from a group that's a little older than the rest of the league, that may not be as talented as some of the rest of the league. You need to do things like that to give yourself a chance and
take advantage when things are not talent isn't enough.
And that's the game was really encouraging for me. There's some things we could do better, obviously, but we've had a habit this season of playing pretty well or even playing really well and giving up some mind-numbing big chance.
I was positive we were going to give up a goal in the last 5 minutes of the first half. I just could feel it coming in my loins.
I checked FOTMob's data. There was no big chance from Crown. Now, their goal is a decent opportunity, and Tiger Smalls took it well.
It's well taken.
And
pisses me off.
But it wasn't. I mean, he still has some work to do there. He receives the ball.
He takes advantage of the perfect moment.
He finding the little gap in our midfield triangle
and the run,
and then running at, but a little bit. It's a really good play.
And Duvon has to step out on the runner, and
otherwise he just
plays it perfectly the whole way. He hits it just before Anatoly can get there. He's already got, because on his turn he got Andres on his back. It's
really well done.
I watched it about 10 times trying to figure out who I should be mad at. And there's no one to be mad at. It's just he does a really, really good thing. And it's fuck. Sometimes really good players do a really good thing. And it's a good chance, not a great chance. But it was the best chance we gave up other than the header that John saves, all game.
Right. And that's really encouraging. Because we've always been the kind of team that if we don't beat ourselves, if we don't make the mistake that sets up a huge chance that's easily converted, we're going to be in every game. And yeah, they scored, but there was no second one. And that's really important.
At the risk of jinxing us, the biggest difference in the past 4 games that we've gotten 2 draws, a win, and a loss in, is that we haven't made catastrophic errors.
Yeah.
And
I think
that is obviously how you need to play all season. But we had a period there where every game or every other game we had a catastrophic error, whether it was defensive or in possession or whatever. And we dropped points. And also, every bounce went against us. And also, we weren't playing as well in the press. Rod talked about it. We weren't playing as well with control and possession. Like, there's a lot of things. It's not a one single thing, right? But we seem to have righted that ship for the most part. Like, are we going to go out and smoke teams? Doesn't look like, especially with the developmental curve of these MLS Next Pro teams, where a lot of these kids that are, some of them are 16, 17, 18, but some of them are 21, 22, have really made strides forward during the season.
Yeah.
And you're feeling that and seeing that, but also we're still able to compete and we're still right in the thick of things. And I'm less encouraged by the game than you are, I think, but I'm thrilled with the result. And I do think it continues a positive streak overall in our play and in our results. And I'm happy with it.
Number 2 for me, with the Huntsville and Crown games out of the way, we are now at 6 games to go in the season.
Terrifying. How do they go so fast?
And what that also does is puts us down to 3 road games left and 3 home games left, which is, I think, really good and like materially different than looking at, okay, well, 8 games to go in the season, like tough period, we're in a bad place, and we've got 3 home games and 5 road games. Like it's mentally more daunting.
Totally. Also, we've been on the road a little more often than we've been at home recently because of this. So, like, it would be nice to, exactly what you said, have 3 and 3.
So, now we get to go down to Miami, play a tough team against a tough team who we've had some success against, and which means, like, remember, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. Crown figured that out as well.
Yeah.
We figured that out against Huntsville. Like, it's going to be a difficult match.
Yeah, look, I want to win that one, but I'm penciling that in as a loss just based on playing them a third time. And we hope for a draw because it's on the road.
Like, just find a way to bring a point home. Scrap and claw for everything you got. It goes into the resilience thing. Like, just scrap and claw for every point down the stretch. And
if we win all 3 games at home, we're likely to be through. That's 9 points.
Yeah, we should.
So, like, obviously, we're not saying it's okay if we lose.
If we're good enough to win all 3 games at home,
we should be good enough to get some draws on the road.
I think we'll be picking up more points on the road than even projected. Like, but also, like, it's just it doesn't matter. Like, pick up something from every game you possibly can. Scrap and claw for everything. Can you steal 3 points when you shouldn't steal 3 points? Can you have a dominating win and put a game away where maybe you're just winning dirty? Can you claw a draw out of nothing?
Can you catch me winning dirty?
Like, this is the time of the season where that matters. And number 3, I think, is something interesting. I think that was the 3rd game this season. Actually, 4th, because Philadelphia Union counts, even though you threw out the data with the red card. I think it was the 3rd or 4th game this season where we didn't win the possession battle. And, we want the possession. We want to control the game. But I think a big portion of, one of the reasons why no highlights happened on the 90 and 15 in that first half, it coincided with us having almost none of the ball in the second part of the first half. But we stayed compact. We held our lines. We tried to play out a little bit when possible, but like we mostly just hunkered down and did what we had to do on each possession. And that's also a really good sign, because that's not the kind of football we want to play, but it was the kind of football we needed to play in moments.
Winning in more than one way, or drawing in this case in more than one way.
You just doing what you got to do, and that's a really positive thing for that I saw from that game. And man, that Miami game is going to be big.
It is. Well, listeners, viewers, if you're not watching, you can watch us on YouTube. like, comment, subscribe. We would love that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Matthew, I will see you in Florida very soon.
I'll see you at the Nashville Airport bar.
Hell yeah. Peace.